Right, for a while now I've been wanting to make an open world kind of tanky-ish Catharsis build, and this build has 2 blue cores. I did it, YouTube. I used blue cores. Whoa! Hold up, my status to full Division 2 YouTube is incomplete. The step after using blue cores is... Wait, that one's not right. It's just not feeling it. I'm not quite there. Oh, that's better. Oh, yeah. Oh, forgot the asterisks. Right, all jokes aside, what I have for you today is a rather unique sort of DPS tanky setup. It's not directly tanky due to just having 2 blue cores and Catharsis, obviously. It's more by the use of Catharsis in tandem with 2 blue cores as well as Ravenous. And the idea behind this is we're going to allow Ravenous to stack, which gets us to pretty much face tank. And then by use of using the Ravenous stacks, namely the armor bonus one, we're able to face tank to proc Catharsis, which allows us to heal. It's a bit of a weird mix. It does work pretty damn well. You can get overwhelmed pretty quickly, but as long as you utilize your environment to a decent-ish effect, stay pretty aggressive as well as pick and choose what it is you're fighting. I mean, I'm up against a elite territory control here, which is arguably one of the harder open world events that you're able to do. Elite convoys, warhound convoys, elite territory controls being some of the hardest. It performs admirably. It's not the best, it's not the quickest, it's certainly not the cleanest. Queenest? Let's say queenest. Who's the queeniest of them all? Yas Queen. Right, edit that one. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to leave all the bloopers in for once. Like, screw it. It started off with a joke, we're going to end it on a joke. And this guy is called Spectacles. I wonder why he's got a minigun. Anyway, yeah. So the tankiness of this build is directly in correlation with the use of Ravenous. So you kind of need to know how Ravenous works. But if you don't, start with the left shoulder, fire 5 shots, do 1 shot on the right. That would give you a lot of bonus armor. You can then either stack the right to get a good burst of damage, or you can go back to the left and just continually stack the over armor to give you the most amount of survivability possible. Due to it being Ravenous, the damage isn't all that great. Most of the damage does come from either A, armor plating by utilizing the bonus armor, which lets you go up from like 400,000 to like 1.4 million, which is pretty damn hefty. The second part is on typical ads. You want to start on the right shoulder to go to the left, which gives you the explosion damage. Here we're going to have the armor plating buff in Act. It just went from 600k to like 1.8 million, which is pretty juicy. And hopefully pretty soon when I find an ad to explode my load on. Oh god, it's just going to get worse, isn't it? Yeah, so it's going to hopefully pick on something. And when he explodes, you should see that we do some pretty decent-ish damage in like a pretty short period of time, near enough instantaneous. It's not 1 explosion, it's actually, well, depending on how many shots you put in, but if you're a full stack, it's actually 10 explosions for some weird wacky reason, but that only counts damage wise as 1. And the overall effect of this build is quite fun. It's kind of like a run and gun Ravenous setup. It's not probably the most comfortable because the swapping shoulders does get really janky really quick, but it's a bit of fun. It's something different. I've never really played around with anything like this before, and like I said, I really wanted to use Catharsis to see if I could make something a little bit out of the ordinary, but also a little bit interesting at the same time. Now obviously you can use things like Strikers on Ravenous does work really damn well, and it actually does have some serious power behind it, but I wanted to go with something a little bit more new player friendly, so I went with Ravenous. Fucking check me out and my 10,000 IQ. Yeah, new player friendly, Ravenous, brilliant. So, you don't have to use Ravenous, you can use other weapons, preferably with something like preservation going on. That could be worthwhile. And I've also just noticed another flaw in my new player-friendly idea, and that's the fact that we're using bloody Matador. Yeah, here, get a DZ exclusive, a raid exclusive, / DZ exclusive now, for some dumbass reason. And yeah, just make this build, it'll be fine, it'll be great, go for it. I'm just a fucking idiot. Anyway, seriously, whose idea was it to do this, like, full bloopery? Like, who let me talk? Like, it shouldn't be allowed. The survivability of this build does depend entirely on the stacking of Ravenous, as well as your ability to manage your incoming damage. In order to heal, although we do have the Chem Launcher, which is able to heal us, and we're also utilising the decoy, just so that we can get some aggro off of us, a lot of the survivability does come from Ravenous itself. You do need to manage your incoming damage, because you will need to take damage in order to proc Catharsis. 1, up to 30% more all weapon damage. 2, the mask itself can also heal you. So managing your incoming damage is kind of paramount, and I swear to God, if I say incoming damage one more time, I'm going to scream. Now, like an absolute dumbass, I did test this build out before deciding to make a video, and in my infinite wisdom I did decide to test this out on Legendary DUA with some random guy that I just met. It works okay in Legendary. It's not the greatest. The amount of damage that you take from Legendary enemies does chew through Ravenous stacks pretty damn quick, and you'll tend to be dead before you're able to proc Catharsis. However, saying that, luckily the random player I was with, it was just the two of us in Legendary DUA, had a pretty good DPS build, and he was able to deal with the standard adds pretty damn quick. Where this build pretty much excelled is the Chungas, due to the armor plating stack and the fact that, weirdly, bullet for bullet, the miniguns don't actually do a lot. It's just the very sheer amount of high volume. I suppose you could say it's doing 1 damage per bullet, but they've got like 9 million RPM kind of thing. So it is a lot of DPS over time, but in terms of like outright damage, LMG gunners are like your biggest threat, which is weird. But yeah, on Legendary, it performed okay. I wouldn't recommend soloing it, but it is or can be pretty useful in a team, and your only goal really would be to take out the Chungas. That's like the big thing. You are Chunga killer. Anyway, we're going to avoid jokes about my mother. She'll kill me. Just going to have a quick look at the sort of damage we get without sort of any buffs, because we can't really get them in here. So we're hitting about 500k. With just under half stacks of Catharsis. We are obviously rocking Intimidate as well. Hopefully as well, if it's not too blurry, you can see like the armor stacking we gain. It is pretty okay. The damage we get is pretty decent, and we are able to get some nice numbers out of the explosion. On to the actual build. We are rocking Catharsis, obviously. Walker and Harris backpack. We are using the Matador for perfect, oh god, adrenaline rush. I think I just had one, or a stroke. Walker and Harris gloves. The reason we want Walker and Harris and not contractors is because we are quite low on the old crit chance. I think we're rocking about 55%. Fox's Prayer. 1, we're running a rifle. 2, damage to targets out of cover. We have a Cheska chest with Intimidate, and we are rocking Picaro's holster as promised. 2 blue calls. Picaro's holster and Catharsis. Check me out, la 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 la. The overall effect of this build, as I said earlier, is pretty good. In the open world, I really wouldn't recommend missions unless you're going in a group. LMG gunners are weirdly a huge problem. I can't figure out why. Most other ads you can deal with pretty quick. LMG gunners just, yeah. Anyway, we have 55% crit chance, 139% critical hit damage, and that's going to be the end of this video. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.